So I've been playing about 25 to 30 hours of Dragon Age the Veilguard, and these are a bunch of tips, tricks, and secrets that I figured out so far to make this game more immersive and a lot more fun. Let's get straight into it. First things first, we're going to jump into the settings tab because this is going to change everything. It's obvious that you probably want to prioritize performance so you can get that frame rate as high as humanly possible. If the cinematics are giving you issues, you might want to go ahead and change up the depth of field. I have found that some of the cinematics or some of the actual cutscenes in the game, the faces are a little bit blurry or they're not as clear as I want them to be, and this actually fixed some of that. So changing this around a little bit will definitely help, as well as motion blur. Getting rid of this is probably going to fix a lot of issues for a lot of people, so that's something you might want to consider. But the most important area of this entire thing is going to be right here in gameplay. So you kind of want to just completely change everything you see here to make your game that much more immersive. First things first, we'll scroll down to the camera shake and the exploration. In Wayfinding, I have this on custom. The object glint visibility, I have this set to always, but this turned on, the glint highlights will always be shown within range. This changes the visibility of glint highlights on interactable objects. So if you have a whole bunch of things around you in a vicinity, you'll be able to see exactly where they are, especially when you're in a certain range of them. And I make sure that that glint range is far. Now, the next part is going to be very important for immersion because it's about your objective marker. I found this to be hella annoying. Like, this bothered me the most in this game. So what I decided to do was, every time I push the up button on my controller, I would then have the objective marker become visible for a short amount of time, and then it would disappear again. This in turn changed my experience with this game. It actually forced me to become more of an explorer. So I would go around different areas and different zones all over the map and really look for different objects and find a whole bunch of secret things. You're going to be in this game and you're going to find these wolf statues and a whole bunch of other things that are very important. I will also let you know about those in this guide. But let's continue talking about wayfinding here in the settings tab. Scroll down a little bit further and I actually have the waypoint visibility turned to off. With that being said, this right here was very game changing for me because now I no longer know exactly where my quest is supposed to be or where I'm supposed to be headed. At which point I then have to, use my brain and kind of just figure out, okay, this might be the direction that we're going. With this turned off, I've actually found myself getting lost, and getting lost was a good thing. I found hidden chests, secrets, and a bunch of things that I probably wouldn't have found if I just followed the main path. So turning this off has changed my experience in this game tenfold. Over in the interface tab, we're going to have the hide helmet option. Here you can set it to never, conversations, or always. Always is going to have it hidden at all times. Conversations, whenever you're in a conversation or a cutscene, the helmet will be hidden and you won't be able to see it. And for now, the helmet that I'm actually wearing is something that I really enjoy, so I want it in all my cutscenes and everything else. That's why I have this set to never. But this is going to be completely up to you. You can switch the language, of course, change up the text size, which is very important for those who, the text size is a little bit too small or just too evasive. And then right here, this is one of my favorite things. The ability to switch around the minimap, lock the minimap's rotation, change the objective tracker visibility. All of these things have completely made the game a hell of a lot better for me. You can actually switch the position of the minimap if it bothers you to the left or right side. Depending on, what type of games you play, it might be better on an opposite side. So this might be a great feature for you. And then scrolling down, you have some text options. You can make them larger, smaller, of course. And you can also display different percentages of health, show player health and everything right here, all in the interface tab. Going through these and actually switching everything up will definitely change your experience. Now, the tutorials and hints can become very invasive and very annoying at times. So turning those completely off is going to be very important for your immersion. However, I would say at least until you get to your 15th hour mark, don't turn these off too soon. There's going to be certain things that the game will actually walk you through or teach you that you probably wouldn't have realized or known about. For example, the trigger and detonation system in this game, if I didn't see the tutorial for it, I don't think I ever would have really paid attention to it. But it's very important that you know certain spells or certain abilities that your companions or you have, they will trigger something or they will set up an attack. and then you can detonate said attack, which gives massive damage. And that massive damage can be a game changer in certain situations because it's an AoE damage. Now with that knowledge, if you time it just right, you can hit multiple enemies at one time with a huge blast and get out a bunch of DPS, which has definitely saved me in a lot of these different encounters. The combat in this game threw me off a little bit when I first got into it, but now that I've gotten used to it after 25-30 hours, it's slowed down a bit. I definitely have a couple of triggers as well as detonators on my own hotbar as a mage, and then I also always have 2 different companions that will complement one another. So one will set something up and the other one will be able to detonate whatever I wanted to set up on that enemy. Now that you've gone through your settings, let's hop over to another tab. We'll go over here to your actual character. Now you can go into extreme detail when it comes to your appearance. You can go over to your wardrobe over in the Lighthouse and completely switch up the entire fit. Once you have done so, you can then go into your own settings of your character and switch this at any time. You can turn the appearance on or off. So if you have a hideous helmet that you do not want to see and you want it to look like something else in the game, go over to your wardrobe, switch it up, and you can turn that on and off. Now, let's say you picked up a brand new helmet and you wanted to actually see exactly what it looked like. Turning this off in that moment will show you exactly what it looks like, just in case you want to switch it up. Now you also have the hide helmet feature right here on this page as well, so you can go ahead and switch this up at any time, which I think is a great quality of life change. This feature actually goes to your companions as well as your armor and weapons as well. If you look very closely here, I can actually switch the appearance on and off to my armor. I can come over here to my weapon and also switch that up as well. And you can switch over to your companions tab and do the exact same thing for them. You can have them looking more uniform so everybody is wearing the same fit, or you can have them looking their own unique way, which can be immersive in itself. You're going to get some pretty amazing characters along your journey, and you definitely don't want to be ignoring these people. Alright, so let's talk more about the companions in this game. You're going to get a bunch of companions while on your journey and going through the main story quest, and when you find these brand new companions, they're going to have different situations where they're going to have to go on missions. Now, when you go on a companion quest, you're going to be getting up their bond level as well as possibly whatever faction they are affiliated with. They will also get a little bit of experience as well. And this will go a long way because the higher you get up the experience or the bond level with factions, you can also go back over to their zone and raise their shops up. When you rank up their shops, you're going to get access to better, higher quality items, and there's some pretty insane things that I'm also going to talk about a little bit later on in this guide that they are hiding in their inventory. But back onto companions, each one of these companions is going to be unique. Sometimes they will actually have a little clock meter on their icon, which means they have some type of timed event that you need to go over to their zone and talk to them. When you speak to them, this could unlock a new quest for you or just an interaction with that character. The more interactions that you have with them, the better you'll be able to raise up their bond level. And that's not the only thing that you can do. You can actually go out into the world and there's going to be a bunch of vendors and merchants. These merchants may have a special gift that you can then give to these companions to progress their bond even further. The further you push their bond and the more story missions that you tend to do, you will eventually unlock more and more of their companion quests. If you go too far with the main story, you could possibly miss out on some of these companion quests completely, which will lock you out of some pretty cool items, weapons, and gear. With that being said, just be careful about it. I always like to go to the Lighthouse in between missions and before a main mission, make sure everybody is cleared out, make sure I had all of my conversations, and then I go and I progress the storyline. That has been the best way to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. Now, moving forward, you can actually switch up their skills. You can buy different skills at any time as long as you have some points available, and you can refund these points at any given moment. There is no penalty to it, which I find to be amazing. This also works for your character and your skills as well. You can go down a certain tree, and if you don't like it or you don't feel that it's working for you, you can go a completely different direction with it at any given moment and test something else out. Alright, so let's go a little bit further into the skill tree. I'm going to talk more about combat in this game in a different guide, but for now, there's a bunch of general tips that I just want you to know about. right here on your skill tree, you will have the ability to raise up the passives for your armor. Medium, light, and heavy armor are in this game, and if you want to get the most out of those different armor sets that you're actually wearing, you have to go to their actual skill tree and rank them up. If you don't, you're not really going to be getting the most out of it, so just be careful of that. Now, there's also going to be different types of skills on your skill tree. Some of these are going to be control or durational. Others are going to be control with some type of area of effect, meaning that the Frost Nova freezes every single enemy in place. This is a great way to do crowd control. If you're getting overwhelmed by a bunch of enemies that are trying to swarm you, you can freeze them in place and figure out exactly what you want to do on the fly. Now, not only that, there's also going to be other moves that are like strike and projectile. They will apply a status on someone, and then after you've applied a status on them, for example, this right here, the Storm Surge, this is a apply and overwhelm situation. So I'll shoot out lightning, then I follow that up with a meteor shower and it detonates. When it detonates, I blast out some insane damage plus the fire damage, and because of these passives that I have around it, I'll also be getting a little bit of a boost to my party for defeating a burning enemy. So there's a whole lot of synergy that you have right here into your kit. Make sure you're paying attention to different things that you may want to do and seeing if it's actually possible with all these different passives in the skill tree. And of course, if you don't like what you've set up, you can go a different path at any time by just refunding the points. Now let's talk about some secrets out into the world. When you're exploring the world, the Crossroads is probably one of the greatest places to be in this game. Exploring the Crossroads is going to wield a bunch of interesting stories between you and Solus. It's going to unlock more of his history, more about him, explain what exactly is going through his head, why he possibly went down the path that he decided to go down, and everything about him. Or you can go to different places that have special unique chests that you don't want to miss out on. These items can be game changers for you. Last but not least, you may come across these different wolf statues and these right here during your travels. One of them is going to shoot out 4 different talismans around the area. It's going to have a tether telling you exactly where those talismans are, but once you find the talisman, just shoot at it or knock it down. Once you destroy all 4 talismans, boom, you'll get your upgrade. There's another statue that's a wolf statue that you will rotate, and in the direction that it's facing, you're going to find a special little statue. If you walk over to it and collect it, you'll get another upgrade permanently for your character. Now, that's not the only way that you can actually upgrade your character. Merchants have special items in their inventory that they're just holding on to. And not only the merchants that are on the map that you may visit from time to time, but actual just secret random merchants that are in that zone. I have walked up to so many random armorers or regular people on the street, and they had a special 1% boost item in their inventory. I bought it and it instantly boosted up different aspects of my character. Now I know 1% sounds extremely low, but when you start to stack these up over time throughout the game in all of these different zones with all of these different merchants, you'll start to see the benefits of what you're doing, and it stacks up super quickly. They also have a lot of great upgrades as well as special gifts that you can give to your companions like I was talking about earlier, so it's a great idea to check on their inventory from time to time. Not only that, but you will be able to buy resources if you need a specific thing from a specific merchant at a certain time, so make sure that you're checking all over the place. Even in the Crossroads, at some point you're going to unlock these spirits. They're going to come back to different zones, and these guys have even better items that they're just hiding in their inventory. If you want to upgrade certain gear, then you might want to actually get 2 of the same object. What happens is they kind of merge together and they unlock a different level or another chain to that object, or it just straight upgrades it. So there's so many amazing benefits from you finding an item, opening up a chest, it being the same item, and then it automatically upgrades itself. You're going to find this to be a great way to get some of the best items in the early game. And of course, if you go after these more valuable chests, then you'll be able to get some of the best items in the game, period. There's been a lot of different situations where I was walking around the world and I got this little icon to pop up right under my map, and it was like a little chest icon, but I couldn't find exactly where the chest is. This icon is actually going to let you know that there's a specific chest that you want to seek out in the area, and you kind of don't want to ignore it. If you see this icon, try to figure out a way to get to that chest. There is possibly going to be a way every single time, unless it's locked away into a certain section of the game that you basically have to progress the storyline for. If that's not the case, make sure you find the secret ladder or break the crystals so that you can go into a different zone and eventually get over to the chest that you've been seeking. These chests have amazing items in it for you and your companions as well, so you definitely don't want to miss out on those. And last but not least, when you go around to different zones and when you're just exploring in general, you may find mementos, and those are extremely important for your actual lighthouse. If you want to upgrade your lighthouse and rank it up, you're gonna have to find these objects that are scattered all over the world. And they're also in some of the merchants' inventories. The more of these items that you collect, you bring them back, you go ahead and you talk to the spirit at the lighthouse, upgrade it, and you will be able to further upgrade all of your different items and equipment that you have equipped onto your character. So currently I'm saving all of my upgrades because I'm still in the, I would say, the early stages of the game, and I don't want to waste these great materials on something that I could possibly just replace in a couple of seconds when I do a new quest. But once I get to the mid to end game range and I start to find objects that I really want to hold on to, I think that's a great opportunity to use this to go ahead and rank those items up, upgrade them, and start unlocking different levels to it so that they can become more powerful and more useful moving forward. And that's going to be every single tip, trick, and secret that I have figured out so far in Dragon Age the Veilguard. If you like what I do here on the channel, make sure you smash that like button, sub so that you don't miss out on any more tips, tricks, guides, and everything else here that I have on the channel. Next video, I'm probably going to be going more in depth into the combat of this game because it's pretty crazy and it's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this one. Have a great day. This is your boy MSensei HD. For now though, I'm out of here.